Second World War, my flotilla was the third flotilla, and there was 12 of us, and we took part in the North African campaign, and then we went on to the invasion of Sicily.
How long were you away for?
2 years.
Throughout the annals of history, instances of soldiers disregarding orders have played a pivotal role in shaping the course of events. While orders serve to uphold discipline and structure in military operations, there are moments when deviation from these commands has had monumental consequences. This video recounts the stories of 15 soldiers who, through their decisions to defy orders or conventions, unquestionably altered the course of history. Number 1. Spartacus. Spartacus, hailing from Thrace, didn't always carry the notoriety associated with rebellion. Originally a freeborn provincial of the Roman Empire, he was later conscripted into the Roman army. His resistance and rebellious actions led to subsequent punishment, as he was sold into slavery and trained as a gladiator. However, the spirit of resistance burned fiercely within him. In 73 BCE, Spartacus, alongside 2 Gallic gladiators named Crixus and Enemaeus, orchestrated a daring escape from the gladiatorial training school at Capua. Approximately 70 trainees revolted, seizing kitchen equipment as their primary weapons. Under Spartacus's guidance, this small band initiated a rebellion that instilled fear in the heart of the Roman Republic. As they traversed the Italian countryside, liberating slaves, their ranks grew into a formidable force. Spartacus's defiance wasn't just in leading a revolt, but in the ideology he fostered. Instead of forming an army based on the spoils of war and enslavement, Spartacus's forces aimed to dismantle the institution of slavery that the Roman Republic relied on. The purpose of the slave army was clear: to fight for freedom and social change. Rome dispatched multiple legions to suppress the uprising. In initial confrontations, the rebel slaves' raw ferocity and determination caught the Roman legions off guard, resulting in humiliating defeats for Rome. Spartacus's strategic acumen was evident as he inflicted successive defeats on the Roman forces. Following a significant victory, Spartacus reportedly staged a symbolic gesture, compelling captured Roman soldiers to fight as gladiators, mirroring the fate once imposed on him. However, the fate of rebellions often hinges on resources and allies. As the conflict progressed, Rome, recognizing the gravity of the threat, deployed seasoned legions under the command of Marcus Licinius Crassus. Despite Spartacus and his forces' valor and determination, they found themselves cornered. In 71 BCE, near the present-day city of Reggio Calabria, Spartacus's last stand took place. The rebels fought bravely, but the might of the Roman legions was overwhelming. Spartacus was reportedly killed in the fray, though his body was never recovered. After the battle, in a grim show of power, the Romans crucified 6,000 captured rebels along the Appian Way, serving as a dire warning to potential insurgents. Although Spartacus's rebellion was ultimately quashed, the legacy of his defiance is immeasurable. He became a symbol of resistance against oppressors, a beacon of hope for the downtrodden, and an inspiration for countless uprisings throughout history. The story of a gladiator-turned-revolutionary who challenged the might of Rome has endured, resonating with the eternal human quest for freedom and justice. Number 2. Mikhail Kalashnikov. Mikhail Kalashnikov's story diverges not through defiance against a specific order, but rather through a distinct departure from conventional weapon design, leaving an indelible mark on global military history. Born in Russia in 1919, Kalashnikov's early life was marked by hardship as his family faced deportation during Stalin's collectivization campaigns, shaping his resilient character. In World War II, Kalashnikov served as a tank commander for the Soviet Red Army. However, a 1941 injury altered his life's trajectory. While recovering in the hospital, he overheard fellow soldiers discussing the shortcomings of Soviet rifles compared to their German counterparts. This ignited Kalashnikov's determination to create a superior weapon for his countrymen. In 1947, after numerous iterations, the Avtomat Kalashnikova AK-47 was born. Distinguished by its simplicity, reliability, and ease of manufacture, the AK-47 could function in extreme conditions, from the dusty deserts of Africa to the freezing terrains of Siberia. Its robustness and user-friendly design made it a favorite among soldiers, guerrilla fighters, and numerous armies worldwide. Although Kalashnikov designed the AK-47 with the intention of defending his homeland, the weapon's legacy is complex, becoming symbolic of both revolution and terror in various global conflicts. The rifle's simple design enabled mass production, leading to its widespread use in numerous conflict zones. Current estimates suggest over 100 million AK-type rifles exist today, a testament to its enduring significance. In his later years, Kalashnikov expressed regret over the weapon's widespread adoption, especially among terrorist groups and in civil conflicts. He wished he had invented a machine benefiting people, like a lawnmower rather than one that became a tool of warfare. Despite Kalashnikov's regret, his influence on military history is undeniable. By creating a weapon that prioritized raw functionality over complexity, he altered the dynamics of ground warfare. The AK-47, though controversial, stands as proof of the profound impact a single invention can have on global events. While Kalashnikov may not have directly disobeyed orders, his unconventional approach to weapon design unquestionably changed the course of history. Number 3. Hugh Thompson Jr. Hugh Thompson Jr.'s narrative stands as a powerful testament to the unyielding human conscience amid the fog of war. Serving as a helicopter pilot during the Vietnam War, Thompson's display of moral courage during the My Lai massacre in 1968 underscores the profound impact of individual actions in preventing greater atrocities. On March 16, 1968, Thompson, accompanied by his two-man crew, Lawrence Colburn and Glenn Andreatta, was conducting a reconnaissance mission over My Lai, a small village in Vietnam. Their initial expectation was to scout for Viet Cong soldiers, but they stumbled upon a nightmarish scene. American soldiers from Charlie Company were engaging in mass atrocities against Vietnamese civilians. Men, women, children, and the elderly were being systematically killed. Affected by what he witnessed, Thompson made a courageous decision to intervene. Landing his helicopter between the rampaging soldiers and the remaining villagers, he issued a direct challenge to his fellow Americans, expressing his intent to open fire on any soldier continuing harm to civilians. This unprecedented act saw Thompson taking a stand not against an external enemy, but against the atrocities perpetrated by his comrades in arms. Over the ensuing hours, Thompson, with the assistance of his crew, airlifted survivors and called for support to halt the massacre. His timely intervention saved numerous lives that day. Upon returning to base, he promptly reported the incident, a choice that unraveled a Pandora's box for the U.S. military. The My Lai massacre, where an estimated 500 Vietnamese civilians lost their lives, became a grim chapter in American military history. Thompson's testimony played a pivotal role in bringing the horrors of that day to light. However, Thompson's outspokenness exacted a heavy personal toll. He faced ostracization from peers and superiors and received death threats, being labeled a traitor. For decades, the U.S. Army hesitated to acknowledge Thompson's heroism. It wasn't until 1998, 3 decades after the incident, that Thompson, Colburn, and Andreatta were posthumously awarded the Soldier's Medal, an honor recognizing valor outside of direct combat. In conferring the medal, the U.S. Army acknowledged the courage it took to confront a grave injustice perpetrated by fellow soldiers. Hugh Thompson Jr.'s act of defiance imparts a poignant lesson on moral integrity. Faced with unspeakable acts and immense pressure, he chose to uphold the values of humanity. His courageous intervention, challenging the actions of his own side amid the chaos of war, firmly cements his place in history as a soldier who championed righteousness over compliance. Number 4. Stanislav Petrov. In the pages of history, certain heroes are hailed for their acts of rebellion amid the chaos of warfare. In contrast, individuals like Stanislav Petrov are commemorated for the composed decisions they made amidst the potential catastrophe of a tempestuous era. Petrov's actions on a tense night in 1983 underscore the tremendous responsibility borne by individuals during the Cold War, an epoch when the specter of nuclear obliteration teetered on a fragile balance. As a lieutenant colonel in the Soviet Air Defense Forces, Petrov was on duty at the Serpukhov 15 bunker near Moscow on September 26, 1983. Tasked with overseeing the Soviet Union's early warning systems designed to detect incoming missile threats from the United States, he found himself in a pivotal role. Shortly after midnight, alarms blared, signaling that an intercontinental ballistic missile had been launched from the US toward the Soviet Union. Subsequent alerts suggested more missiles were en route. In the tense geopolitical climate, a retaliatory strike was the prescribed response, a decision poised to plunge the world into nuclear war. However, Petrov harbored reservations. Relying on his intuition and training, he surmised that a system malfunction might be responsible for the alert. His reasoning was based on a few key observations. A surprise attack from the US would likely involve a massive onslaught of missiles, and satellite-based ground radar systems did not confirm an incoming missile trajectory. Contrary to protocol, Petrov chose not to report the alert to his superiors, opting to trust his gut feeling that the warnings were false. His instincts proved accurate. Subsequent investigations revealed that the early warning system had indeed malfunctioned, misinterpreting sunlight reflections off clouds as missile launches. When dawn broke, the world remained blissfully unaware of how perilously close it had come to the brink of nuclear war. Petrov's decision averted a potential retaliatory strike by the Soviet Union, preserving millions of lives. Despite the gravity of his actions, Petrov did not receive immediate recognition. He faced criticism for deviating from procedures, and the incident was shrouded in secrecy for years. Only after the dissolution of the Soviet Union did his story come to light. Stanislav Petrov's legacy serves as a stark reminder of the immense burden carried by individuals in positions of authority. In a world teetering on the edge, his rational defiance, choosing to question rather than blindly act, prevented a cataclysm. Petrov's story epitomizes the potency of discernment, even in the face of overwhelming pressure. Number 5. Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck. Though not an immediately recognizable name, Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck's military campaigns during World War I positioned him as one of history's most formidable guerrilla warfare tacticians. His audacity and tenacity on the African front exerted immense pressure on the British, tying down significant resources that could have been deployed elsewhere during the war. Born into a Prussian military family, Lettow-Vorbeck's early service included assignments in China and German Southwest Africa. When World War I erupted, he found himself in command of the small German colonial force in German East Africa, present-day Tanzania. Instead of passively awaiting British attacks, Lettow-Vorbeck took the initiative, engaging in a series of hit-and-run guerrilla campaigns that baffled the Allies. Remarkably, when the war concluded in 1918, Lettow-Vorbeck remained undefeated, surrendering only after learning of the armistice, signaling the end of his relentless campaign. In a curious turn of events, the man who had been a constant thorn in the side of the British Empire received full military honors from his British counterparts upon surrender. In the ensuing years, Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck's legacy as a military strategist continued to grow. He demonstrated the efficacy of guerrilla warfare and emphasized the importance of understanding and adapting to one's environment. While his role in the broader theater of World War I may have been geographically peripheral, his impact on military strategy and the resource allocation of the Allies was undeniably profound. Number 6. Moses Shapira. Moses Shapira's narrative intertwines with the intricate fabric of history, not through displays of military heroism, but within the enigmatic realms of mystery, religion, and the potential for groundbreaking archaeological discoveries. a figure of the 19th century, Shapira's life was marked by intrigue, allegations of forgery, and a biblical artifact that, if authentic, could have reshaped our comprehension of the Old Testament. Born in 1830 to Jewish parents in the Russian Empire, Shapira underwent a conversion to Christianity as a young man. This transformative decision led him to the Holy Land, where he eventually settled in Jerusalem and established himself as an antiquities dealer, catering to the growing Western interest in biblical artifacts. However, Shapira's legacy would hinge on a singular discovery. In the early 1880s, Shapira unveiled a sensational find, a purported ancient manuscript resembling the Book of Deuteronomy but featuring several notable variations. Dubbed the Shapira strips, these artifacts were presented as leather strips inscribed with ancient Hebrew text. The contents of these strips challenged traditional biblical narratives, suggesting alternative versions of stories and even raising the intriguing possibility that the Ten Commandments might have originally been different. The true nature of Moses Shapira's legacy remains veiled in mystery. Was he a shrewd forger seeking fame and fortune, or was he a visionary misunderstood on the brink of a groundbreaking revelation? While debates persist over the authenticity of the Shapira strips, Shapira's tale serves as a compelling reminder of the delicate balance between genius and deception, and the immense pressures accompanying potentially paradigm-shifting revelations. Number 7. David Stirling. Amidst the expansive theaters of World War II, where monumental battles and grand strategies defined the conflict, David Stirling carved out a niche that would forever alter the landscape of warfare. A maverick and innovator, Stirling's audacious initiatives led to the establishment of the Special Air Service, SAS, a unit that would redefine the very concept of special forces. Hailing from a noble Scottish lineage, David Stirling's early military career seemed unremarkable, marked by injuries and a perceived lack of discipline. However, beneath this exterior lay an agile mind that recognized the potential of small, highly trained teams executing surgical strikes against the enemy. Post-war, the importance of specialized units like the SAS gained universal recognition, inspiring the creation of numerous special operations forces worldwide. David Stirling's defiance stemmed from his willingness to challenge established military norms and envision the future of warfare. Through sheer determination, he transformed a radical idea into one of the most elite and revered military units in history. His influence endures, encapsulated in the SAS motto, "Who dares wins," reflecting not just the ethos of an elite unit, but the indomitable spirit of its founder. Number 8. Henry Tandy. In the tapestry of history, there are moments of profound intersection where individual choices, no matter how small, send ripples through time with unforeseen consequences. Henry Tandy, a British soldier during World War I, embodies this enigmatic facet, as his fate intertwines with that of a young German corporal named Adolf Hitler. Tandy, recognized for bravery and dedication, served in the Duke of Wellington's regiment and earned the Victoria Cross for unparalleled valor during the Battle of Marcoing in 1918. However, it was an act of mercy that would echo through history. Amidst the chaos of battle, Tandy reportedly encountered a wounded German soldier. Choosing compassion over aggression, he spared the young man's life, who, as tales suggest, was none other than Adolf Hitler. While Tandy's legacy is distinguished by military accolades, it is shadowed by this haunting anecdote. His tale emphasizes the profound unpredictability of history, where split-second decisions can reverberate across decades, shaping the course of a world at war. Number 9. Desmond Doss. In the crucible of World War II, where violence and valor intertwined, Desmond Doss emerged as a symbol of the latter with an unusual twist. A Seventh-day Adventist, Doss's faith forbade him from bearing arms or taking a life, yet his sense of duty led him to enlist as a medic in the Pacific Theater. Despite facing ridicule for his beliefs, Doss's commitment never wavered. During the Battle of Okinawa at Hacksaw Ridge, he repeatedly braved enemy fire, single-handedly evacuating 75 wounded soldiers. His courage under fire was unparalleled, earning him the distinction of being the first conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor. Doss's story showcases the strength of conviction, demonstrating that heroism can manifest in ways far removed from traditional notions of combat. Number 10. Jack Lucas. In an era when most teenagers grappled with adolescence, Jack Lucas was diving into the treacherous battlegrounds of World War II. Enlisting in the Marines at just 14, Lucas fought in the pivotal Battle of Iwo Jima at 17. In a defining moment, Lucas and 3 comrades encountered 2 enemy grenades. Without hesitation, he threw himself onto one while pulling the other beneath him, using his body as a shield. Surviving the blasts with severe injuries, Lucas's selfless act saved the lives of his fellow Marines, making him the youngest Marine and youngest serviceman in World War II to receive the Medal of Honor. His audacity and selflessness highlight the extraordinary depths of bravery found even in the most unlikely heroes. Number 11. Eugene Bullard. Eugene Bullard's life journey embodies resilience, determination, and a quest for honor that transcended borders. Born in Georgia during the racially divisive early 20th century, Bullard's dreams led him to Europe, where destiny awaited. Settling in France, Bullard joined the French Foreign Legion when World War I erupted. His bravery earned him a place in the French Air Service, making him the first African-American combat pilot. Despite facing racism when seeking to serve in the American forces, Bullard's legacy remains intact, a trailblazing pilot who soared above prejudice and showcased the boundless horizons of human potential. Number 12. Alvin York. Hailing from the rugged terrains of Tennessee, Alvin York's journey from a hard-drinking brawler to one of World War I's most acclaimed heroes is drenched in redemption and valor. Despite struggling with the moral implications of war as a devout Christian, York's commitment to his fellow soldiers saw him drafted into the conflict. It was during the Meuse-Argonne offensive that York showcased unparalleled bravery. Single-handedly, he captured 132 German soldiers, neutralized multiple machine gun nests, and secured a strategically crucial position. This Herculean feat, achieved under relentless enemy fire, earned York the Medal of Honor, and his story serves as a powerful reminder of the complex interplay between faith and duty and the extraordinary feats of heroism that often emerge from such internal conflicts. Number 13. Niels Bohlin. In the vast theater of human history, not all soldiers wield weapons. Some, like Niels Bohlin, combat mortality through innovation. Bohlin, a Swedish engineer, wasn't engaged in conventional warfare, but his invention has saved countless lives on a different front line: the road. Before Bohlin's time, vehicular seatbelts were rudimentary, offering limited protection during collisions. Recognizing this peril, Bohlin, working for Volvo in 1959, introduced the 3-point seatbelt. This design, ingeniously simple yet highly effective, distributed the collision force across the chest and pelvis, dramatically reducing injuries. Beyond just its invention, Volvo's decision, influenced by Bohlin, to keep the patent open allowed global automakers to adopt this life-saving device. Today, the 3-point seatbelt is ubiquitous, a silent sentinel credited with saving over 1 million lives. While Bohlin's battlefield was different, his legacy is undeniably that of a protector, shielding generations from the tragedies of the road. Number 14. Kurt Knispel. The cataclysmic clashes of World War II produced many warriors, but few possessed the prowess and enigma of Kurt Knispel. A German tank commander, Knispel's record is unmatched, credited with destroying 168 enemy tanks. Yet, statistics alone don't encapsulate his unique spirit. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Knispel was never seduced by propaganda or the allure of rank. His focus remained singular: the well-being of his crew and the mastery of his machine. He frequently came into conflict with superiors, often due to his staunch refusal to partake in the mistreatment of POWs. Despite his unparalleled achievements, Knispel was denied the Knight's Cross, the highest military decoration in Nazi Germany, likely due to these insubordinations. Ultimately, in the war's final days, Knispel's journey ended in combat, sealing his fate as the tank ace of aces. His story, replete with valor yet marred by the larger tragedy of war, stands as a testament to individual skill and integrity amidst the vast machinery of conflict. Number 15. Ben L. Salaman. War often unveils the deepest core of human character, and for Ben L. Salaman, a dentist-turned-battlefield hero during World War II, that core revealed an unparalleled commitment to duty and comrades, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Trained as a dentist, Salaman was commissioned into the U.S. Army Dental Corps in 1940. By 1944, during the Pacific Campaign, he served as an impromptu surgeon on Saipan. On July 7th, amid a Japanese counteroffensive, Salaman transformed his dental office into a makeshift surgical tent, holding off advancing forces to allow the evacuation of the wounded. His selfless act exemplifies the lengths individuals go to defend comrades and principles transcending designated roles. In the vast chronicles of World War II, Salaman's story stands as a testament to courage, commitment, and the indomitable human spirit.